But first, we are starting our show today with a little bit of inspiration about the strength of women who have overcome hardships and found the courage to rise above.
These deeply personal stories can be found in the powerful new book, Rising Above. And joining us now to share what inspired the book and why these stories matter is journalist, business owner, and best-selling author Alison Maloni. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. A truly powerful book. What did inspire you to sit down and write this?
Sure. So many women, we've all gone through different things in our lives. And what I started noticing is that women started sharing their stories, whether it was on social media or in the media. And for so long they were afraid to, because they felt that if they did, then they would appear weak. Maybe, they wouldn't get hired at a job. Maybe, what would their future spouse think? And so many things that they didn't want to come out, they finally started sharing. And when they started sharing their stories, they realized that not only did they feel better and powerful, but they were helping others. And I just started interviewing these women, and to hear their stories and not only what they went through, but how they overcame. And beyond that is what they are doing in the community, in the country, to help other people and other women.
Yeah, by sharing your stories, you can relate. You can see other people have gone through this. I'm just saying someone needs to write this book. I'm glad you did. What types of stories did you share? Because it sounds like it's deeply personal, including your own.
Sure. So I interviewed 9 women, and I did put my story in there, and I was a little apprehensive because I'm pretty much an open book, but there are things that I don't always, I don't share with the public or even with some of my family and friends, but I felt if these women were brave enough to share their story, then I can too. One of the women I interviewed was Samantha Harris. You may remember her with Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. Loved her on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, and so she found a lump in her breast, went to the doctor. The doctor said, it's no big deal. We don't even need to biopsy it. She went home and said, I just need a second opinion. Got a second opinion. That doctor said, nothing, no big deal, don't worry about it. Talked to her mom, and her mom said, trust your gut. She went to a third doctor. They did discover that it was breast cancer. And so the lesson that she learned was obviously trust your gut, but she, going through her process, was researching and trying to figure out everything, and there was so much information that she put together a book on what to eat, what not to eat, what to put on our body, what we shouldn't, and basically it's a guide for women and men on how to stay healthy. And so she's inspirational. Another woman I interviewed lost her son in the Sandy Hook shooting, and
unimaginable.
And so he actually saved some of his students by stepping in front of them. And Scarlett Lewis is her name, and she decided that instead of just sitting there and being upset, she was going to make a difference. So she started the Choose Love movement, which is in thousands of schools across the country.
Wow. What was it like interviewing her? I mean, her story is not only national news, but it's just so deeply painful.
I cried, and she cried, and it was just something that, as a mom, to imagine what she went through and those other parents, but her strength. She talked about how you can't blame, but you have to make a difference and get to the root of the problem, and just the faith and the courage that she had, to do this movement, to not stop, to try and help other students. And this movement's in correctional facilities now, it's in corporations, and it's just teaching people how to choose love, how to see, the positive, and if you see negative, if you see people struggling, how to get them help.
Was there some common denominator between all the women that you interviewed of how they overcome, how they rise above? Is there something like the secret that they hold to getting through these unthinkable times?
2 things. One was faith. A lot of these women, some lost their faith, especially after going through these things, because that's the time when you think, why me? And then you start to question things. And their friends and family, they had to really dig deep into their small circle. A lot of them didn't have much, but their friends and family who stuck by them, because that's all you have sometimes. Some lost their jobs, some were in the hospital. This woman almost lost her leg, she lost her business, she was a fitness instructor. And so the faith and the friends and the family were those 3 things that they really dug into and have kept.
Well, truly inspirational. I hope a lot of people get their hands on that book, and I'm going to share where they can get that. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course. The book Rising Above can be found online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and Walmart. And you can follow Alison on Instagram at Alison Maloni.